Hi, welcome to a new year. This is Kathleen Diaz greeting you. I know you've been greeted with this phrase many times, but it was my turn and I didn't want to miss it. So Happy New Year. We've had many sunny days here in Southern California, and the mountains, they're just filled with vegetation and color. Remember, last year in my message, I said it would be a two-part series. Well, here is my second part. Let's retake this story. We're talking about David, how a feeble boy arrived at a camp where a battle was imminent. Those around him were trying to persuade him and convince him he was just not strong enough. But he had courage and trust in God. He knew God had called him to that very place for a purpose, and he was ready to answer the call. So the first lesson we learned about this story was encourage those who the Lord has called. Losing the battle would be to be slaves to the Philistines, but Saul took a risk. He trusted that David had received a call from God to go and fight. And as we go back, let's read again 1 Samuel 17:37. Go and the Lord be with you. Everyone around him had tried to discourage David, but here is King Saul saying, if you trust in the Lord, I will trust him also. What a great testimony in such a short time. What can you do for the Lord? What is the Lord placing in your heart for you to go and tell others about Christ? Second part of the story. Now let's change the scenery, and we are about to go to battle. We are ready to go and shout for war. Here is our second lesson. When God has called you and the call has been recognized, get into action. Let's think about a race. You see, professional runners, they train, and after training several times, sometimes they're spotted by a recruiter, and the recruiter will sponsor them and train them so they can be runners. But now, after they were recruited, the runners, they need to put their work into action. When it comes to world records, athletes try to achieve and hold the best time. Well, there's a record who can run the fastest mile. The World Athletics has 32 world records for the fastest mile. And it is notorious to see that from 1979 to 1981, there were 5 improvements. They went to 3:49 minutes per mile to 3:47 minutes per mile. When a person can achieve the impossible, more try to follow and improve it. David was in the field. He was there after receiving the call, and he was ready for action. How are we preparing ourselves? We read in Matthew 28:19, therefore go and make disciples for all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Yes, it is a challenging world we live in. We live in a society that is not interested in God, but we have a great task ahead of us, a task to go and preach. Action is needed to defeat a giant. Battles are not conquered only in thought, but in actions. Just like athletes always in training, trying to improve the previous marking, we need to improve our previous year of sharing. What is your goal this year? One Bible study? Baptizing? Sharing God in unexpected places? Ask God for wisdom. Ask God, I have heard your call, and I am ready to be your disciple. Just as David, give me the courage to put my skills into action and defeat the giant. Blessings to all.